My boss said in front of everyone, "You're not good enough for this project." I stayed quiet. 1 week later, I showed the company the emails where he was taking credit for my work. His cologne smelled different that Tuesday. It wasn't a big deal. Maybe nobody else would have noticed. But I noticed small things. I always have. I was sitting at my desk reviewing quarterly reports when Mark walked past me. He was our department manager. He always wore the same expensive cologne. But that day, it was different. I looked up. He was smiling. And strangely enough, he was avoiding eye contact with me. I didn't say anything. At the time, my mind was occupied with grocery bills. Milk had gotten more expensive again. I'd had to call a plumber the week before because the kitchen faucet wouldn't stop leaking. And Thursday was my turn for the carpool. Life was moving along as usual. Then the second thing happened. 2 days later, we had our team meeting. Mark stood in the conference room giving a presentation. Last week, I developed a strategy that increased client engagement by 20%. I looked at the screen. It was my strategy document, word for word. My slides, my numbers, my work. Lisa, who was sitting beside me, leaned over and whispered, "Wasn't that your idea?" I shrugged. "Maybe." She stared at me. "You're not going to say anything?" "Not right now." I took a sip of my coffee and stayed quiet. People often assume that quiet people are weak. That's usually their first mistake. The third clue came on Friday. I was leaving the office when I heard voices coming from the copier room. Mark was inside. Ryan from finance was with him. "Just send me those files," Mark said. "Are you sure?" Ryan asked. "Yeah, nobody's going to check." I walked past the door, pretending I hadn't heard a thing. But I noted the time. 4:37 p.m. I always remember details. The week passed. Autumn was arriving in our small town. The maple trees were beginning to turn red. There was a white picket fence in front of my house. My neighbor's golden retriever barked at the mailman every morning. In the evenings, I sat on my porch with a cup of coffee and worked on my laptop. And during that time, I started gathering things. Quietly. Without confrontation. Without drama. I reviewed my sent emails. Pulled up old drafts. Checked cloud backups. Saved timestamps. I didn't accuse anyone. I didn't argue with anyone. I simply collected evidence. Because evidence is more powerful than emotion. The following Tuesday was the company-wide meeting. Board members were attending. I was sitting near the back of the conference room. Mark looked as confident as ever. Halfway through the meeting, the CEO praised him. "Mark has done excellent work on the Henderson project." People nodded. Mark smiled. Then the CEO asked, "Anything else before we move on?" I raised my hand. The room went silent. Mark looked at me, for the first time all week. "Yes, Emily," the CEO asked. I stood up. My hands weren't shaking. Neither was my voice. "Actually, I think the board should see something." I connected my laptop to the projector. The first slide appeared. The original project draft. My name was at the top, along with the date. Then came the second slide. An email chain. Then a third. And a fourth. Every document had a timestamp. Every idea had first come from my inbox, and later been forwarded under Mark's name. The room was completely silent. I kept speaking, calmly, without anger, without emotion, just facts, just dates, just emails. Then I stopped. Every member of the board was looking at Mark, the CEO, the HR director, everyone. Mark opened his mouth, then closed it. He tried to say something, but the evidence had already spoken for him. For the first time, I didn't need to explain myself. I sat back down. That was it. No shouting. No dramatic scene. Real life rarely works that way. In the real world, quiet truth is often more powerful than loud lies. 2 weeks later, I was offered a promotion and a leadership position on another team. I accepted. Mark was no longer there. But the truth is, by then, I had already stopped thinking about him. Some people think success is revenge. Not for me. For me, success is moving forward. One morning, I was sitting on my porch. The air was cool. Maple leaves drifted slowly across the street. My neighbor's dog was making noise as usual. The coffee was hot, and for the first time in months, I felt at peace. I picked up my phone, opened the onboarding documents for my new team, and smiled, quietly, because in the end, the goal was never to defeat someone. It wasn't even to prove myself. The goal was simply to let the truth stand when the time was right. And now there was a new morning, a new path. And this time, I wasn't looking back.